Zan Truluck. Welcome to my first of what I'm right now calling is subject to change Fireside Friday chats. I wanted to take the opportunity to let whoever wants to know what my process looks like, my thoughts that I put into my artwork, just give a peek into the background and the behind the scenes movements and mechanics on what really makes my work. And my thought is that I'm going to put an indelible mark on anything that I do. And not just because I look at my art as permanent, but I look at my thought process, the ability to take something in your home and spend time watching it for a specific amount of time, or not watching, but viewing it and staring at it and getting layers and layers and levels deeper with the meaning. So I'm trying to peel back that onion now and really give an opportunity to speak to it, since I have not yet done a full up exhibition. So the first one I decided to go with was it's called We People Who Are Darker Than Blue. So the song is inspired by Curtis Mayfield. I would sing it, but I'm awful at singing, so I'm not even going to try it. But this looks like I'm posing for this. I meant to take a sip. But We People Who Are Darker Than Blue has been a song that has always resonated with me. The words themselves, just in the title, We People Who Are Darker Than Blue, there is no way to hear that without feeling it in a very deep and real way. So on the same note, I always thought that every cartoon that was blue was a black cartoon. So what I mean is, on the show Doug, his friend Skeeter was blue, but in my mind he was a black person, because this is the depth of representation that we got. We had so little black cartoons and so little black representations that I had to find blackness in different hues in the rainbow on cartoons. So similarly, I've said this before in other venues, but I felt like Beast and Mystique and Nightcrawler from X-Men as three blue characters were black people. That's how I was able to identify with them in a sea of overwhelming things that are other than black. So one day I'm at my desk at my job, and I'm just thinking about my place in America as it's coming up to our first holiday in a year. So my job doesn't give a holiday from the day after New Year's until Memorial Day. So MLK, no, don't get that. There are reasons for it, but you're really looking forward to that first holiday. So the first holiday is Memorial Day. And as I'm thinking about Memorial Day, I'm seeing all the Americana and everybody get really excited about America. And I absolutely want to say that I respect, admire those who are veterans, those who are in the service. I understand the sacrifices that them and their families are making for us. I've had family members of my own go into the service, and it is something that's an absolute need in our world. So your support is incredible. And as I'm thinking of that, I think about all of the soldiers who have fallen in memoriam from a black standpoint, in the black context. How many people were not memorialized in the correct way to build up this great nation, or great, from time to time vacillates, but to build up the nation that it is, it was built on the backs of people who were soldiers. And literally people like Crispus Attucks, who was the first soldier to get shot in the Revolutionary War, might be called American Revolution, whatever.
First person killed in the American Revolution.
You have these soldiers who have fought in this war for a country that never loved them back. So tying that back to the We People Who Are Darker Than Blue, I'm sitting at my desk and I just decided to start sketching. And this is literally the paper towel from the bathroom at my job. It's not really good quality to begin with, has no toothiness, but I sketched out what I was thinking at the time, and I thought about Adam Smith and the Wealth of the Wealth of Nations, and thinking about how he had the invisible hand that guides. And the invisible hand that guides the economy. I may have also said that Wealth of Nations thing wrong, but it's a little late right now. But Adam Smith wrote about the invisible hand that guides the economy. And the invisible hand that guides the economy is just that it sets markets at equilibrium. It does what it needs to do to keep things captured and moving in an economy, but it plays in the background. And I thought about the invisible hand that guided the slave economy. So as I'm thinking about this concept, when you see black bodies hanging, it's hard enough to just deal with in your mind. Yet I had been thinking about this concept of painting on mirrors for a long time. So I took that concept and placed it with the concept of painting on mirrors, and painted my first black body hanging on a mirror. The whole concept was so that you can see yourself reacting to the subject matter. So when you place this in front of people who are of color or people who are not of color, you get into this the situation where you're forced to see yourself react to seeing something like this. And the hypothesis was that non-people of color would see something like this and turn away and have to fight themselves to understand why did they turn away. What was the deeper level of feeling behind that? So again, it's Memorial Day. I got through this, and this was just kind of the execution of how do I get it done on the mirror. It was my first time painting on a mirror, but it didn't quite hit what I wanted to get done. So I took it a step further, and this was 2014, by the way. I don't know if I said that or not, but I took it a step further, and I've never done a monochromatic painting before. So I said, what does it look like if I do this in all red? And thinking about our country and Memorial Day, and the American flag tank top I was planning to wear for the weekend, and putting on all this Americana when I'm extremely conflicted because I don't really even rock with America like that because of how America doesn't rock with us as black people. So I started painting out on mirrors again, thinking, what if this was a series and I had people looking at their reaction to all of that and this representation of black bodies as we represent America, because we are America. The soil was filled with the bones of our ancestors who toiled and worked over the land for this place. So we people who are darker than blue, I painted us on the mirrors in red, white, and blue. And when you put them next to one another, which I'll be careful to do, you get them in a complete triptych with the red, white, and blue three, and you have the bodies on that pendulum as they would swing back and forth, the way that America has pushed us back and forth from the tree of life here. And still we don't have anything to show for it. So from start to finish, this is we people who are darker than blue. I painted this on Memorial Day weekend, 2014. I've only displayed this publicly one time before, but imagine you're facing something like this, and it's one of the first things you see when you walk in. You know what, actually I'm wrong. I've displayed this publicly twice, in my high school alumni show and in the one show I did when I was in Philadelphia. The thing is, I want to do these chats because I have a ton of work, and we really aren't spending the time to discuss it. I'm not displaying it anywhere. It's just kind of sitting on the shelf right now, all waiting until I'm prepared. But I figured I could give you all a little insight into what I've been doing over the years and how all of my work connects together.